And the thing is people like us, we would die immediately in a Buffy universe. I mean, maybe not, but
I don't think I would.
I would. I'd be cannon fodder. I'd be cannon fodder. If I was lucky, I would get turned into a vampire and be somebody's girlfriend for a while. That would be best case scenario for me.
Anomaly. I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
I am an anomaly. I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
An anomaly.
Anomaly. Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. An oddity, peculiarity, irregularity, inconsistency, incongruity, a rarity.
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter. So today's kind of a free-for-all topic. We have a long list of pre-made options, and so Angela picked one, and it's about what alternate universe we would escape to if the world was ending.
Yes, if the world was ending, which alternate universe that you have seen portrayed
and
would you
why
want to be
yes.
in and why? No, wait,
Sorry.
That just reminds me though.
What?
Okay, so I think that I'm going to change the title of this.
Okay.
To just talk. Okay. I got it. So there's different types of fiction and fantasy, sci-fi, blah, blah. So I think that what this is about is our favorite, I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up on Wiki and I'll put it like here on a scroller. See? And basically there are different kinds of fiction. Like, for instance, Lord of the Rings is high fantasy. Yeah. Wheel of Time is high fantasy. There's no connection to our world at all. It's just, they're humans, and that's pretty much the only thing. There's no connection. However, Buffy exists in our world, but a different
urban fantasy
version.
That's what that is.
Yeah, and Harry Potter. Also, it references things that we would understand because it's part of our world, but it's not. Star Trek, similar. So Star Wars would be more of a romantic high fantasy because it's in a different world, long ago and far away, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we should talk about these urban fantasies that exist with us, but not really. So that would include the Sliders and Star Trek and stuff like that, and talk about these alternate dimensions, whether it's referred to as a dimension or whether it's just another world.
Alternate
history, and talk about what we think about that.
Okay. It took us a long time to get to this point. Are you going to cut all that other stuff, or are you going to leave it?
Don't worry, I'll cut it. Okay, so we're talking about, what did you call it, urban fantasy?
Urban fantasy or historical fantasy.
Historical fantasy. And basically fantasy based on our world, but slightly different.
Known histories that have been altered.
Right. So it could be alternate history. It could be traveling back in time. It could be something like Harry Potter, Buffy, anything that's actually connected to our universe, but obviously reacts differently than our normal universe would. Yeah. So talk a little bit about Outlander again.
Okay, so Outlander it's based on these standing stones, which do actually exist in real life. Mm-hmm. We talked about it in our Outlander episode that we did on standing stones. I did with the archaeologist Jenny McNiven, and she talked about the true purpose of these standing stones, which were probably religious or to measure time.
Cool.
And so, but basically, the author of Outlander, she decided they were portals into the past, and certain people it hasn't been revealed what type of people they are, but my sister thinks that Claire Randall, who's the main character who travels to the past, is maybe a fairy.
Ooh.
So.
Or a fae?
Yes. So she can travel to the past, but other people can't. Like, some of the people from the past cannot come to the future.
Okay.
So, but anyway, she falls into the past, accidentally touches the stone, goes into the past. And so what I like about that is that she gets to experience the 1700s in Scotland as a modern as in 40s. She's from, like, the end of World War II. Battlefield nurse. She has all these like scientific, medical, this knowledge that she takes with her to the past. Mm-hmm. Even has the ability to learn herblore in the past,
Cool.
and heals people and takes care of them. She never lets go of who she is in the past. So that always intrigued me about that story.
That's
is that
cool.
what you wanted to know?
Yes, that is exactly.
Without going too far into Spoilerville, that's basically it. She falls in love there too. I like romance, so
Oh, time traveling romance.
yes.
And you read the book as well as
I've read all of them, and I've watched the first part of the first season. I've stopped at the wedding, which I hear is like soft porn. So I haven't watched that yet.
You're funny. Okay.
I'm gonna have to work up to it.
That's okay.
And watch it alone because David's like, I'm not watching that.
Y'all are hilarious. Okay, so another one would be Harry Potter. Obviously, everybody knows about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to live in like a Harry Potter universe. You know, if you were a wizard.
Definitely, not a Muggle. Totally not.
Not being a Muggle. I think it would be fun, but it has been pointed out on this other show that I listen to sometimes that they don't teach like anything except for magic at magic school. You would think that after
interesting, yeah, you need
after
some
being 11, and the most funny thing that they brought up was
some history.
Yeah, is that you have this group of kids who has the ability to travel through time, but they don't have any working knowledge of history.
Right.
So you probably need to add some
Science,
some basics
math,
into there.
literature.
Now I'm assuming that maybe there is a Muggle studies class, so it's possible that maybe that's where they learn that stuff. So maybe, but isn't that kind of funny? It's
funny.
just like there's just potions, and I mean there is call for that. You would think, even in the Muggle world of like, and there's like a system of politics, so you would need to learn government and economics and that kind of stuff. They have money. Mm-hmm. You would think there'd need to be some wizard accountants. Yeah. So
well they have goblins.
Well, they have the goblins that they're bankers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're controlling like value. I mean, because there has to be an economy. They have a lot of gold. They have a lot of gold.
That's an interesting thing, though. But are goblins the only ones who go into that field of?
I don't know. I mean, but there has to be somebody who might have a penchant for it. You never know. Yeah. And there are some that live among Muggles, and in order to do that, they would probably have to, pretend to have a job. You never know. And also there are squibs, like Professor Filch, who is born to two magic people but does not have any magical powers.
I wondered what the deal is with them, other than being creepy.
That's right, you didn't read the books.
I have them, and I will read them.
That's okay. You can do everything at your own time. I'm not going to force you. But they are pretty good. And, the squib is just like Hermione is a Muggle-born, which means she has two parents who are Muggles, and then she is a witch. The opposite can happen. And everybody for a while thinks that Neville is one. But he's not. He's okay. We all know that. Neville's fine. But Filch definitely is what's called a squib. And the thing is that, like, as a squib, if he would have gotten just, like, a normal education, once they realized that he couldn't do magic, why not, teach him how to be a gardener?
But he seems pretty ticked off. So
I love that character.
Maybe Squib is ticked off because he was born to two magic-wielding parents and didn't have
who never learned
powers.
history.
And he's like,
because you can be quite successful in the Muggle world, I think, if you just have that knowledge. I don't know, I'm just putting that out there.
You can guard some slobbering three-headed dogs.
That's true. Or be a groundskeeper.
Cat.
That's true. That's
cat
true.
Man.
Okay, so Buffy is another one. We love Buffy. Mm-hmm. The only problem with Buffy is the recurrence of hellmouths everywhere. I'm not really a big fan of that idea. So...
That would be problematic.
That would be problematic. And the thing is people like us, we would die immediately in a Buffy universe. I mean, maybe not, but...
I don't think I would.
I would. I'd be cannon fodder. I'd be cannon fodder. If I was lucky, I would get turned into a vampire and be somebody's girlfriend for a while. That would be best case scenario for me. What? I mean,
I would be on some bizarro Scooby-Doo team.
No, I'm trying to be realistic. Vampire girlfriend. Best case scenario. I'd be nice. Maybe I wouldn't kill anybody.
I doubt it.
I would.
You would.
I probably would.
You would track down people who annoy you.
I would not. I am too lazy for that kind of activity. Jen would.
I would.
Sith Jen would become a vampire.
Sith Jen would.
and she would track down
yes, I
everyone,
wouldn't want to be on her bad
whoever
side.
wronged her, and she would make them pay. Like,
Yeah, that's
and it
true.
would be ugly.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be really ugly.
I would just stalk bad people.
So that'd be nice of you. Like Dexter?
Beneficial.
You could be like the Dexter of vampires.
I would. And Dexter creeps me out. But I
You
would
like it.
probably be Dexter.
You could be the Dexter of vampire. I think that'd be okay. So I guess that would be okay if you only went after like serial killers and psychopaths and stuff. That wouldn't be that bad.
It's doable.
People that talk in movie theaters. Do you remember that quote? Anybody?
No.
It's from Firefly. Anyway.
I missed it.
So Firefly is technically of our universe.
It is an alternate history, isn't it? Or
Well, it's an
maybe
alternate. It's an
future.
alternate future.
Yeah.
It's just as much of a future as
But
Star
it's
Trek
not a
is.
fantasy. Aren't we talking about fantasies?
No,
Are
we're
we-
talking about.
alternate histories, alternate.
Yeah, Star
World.
Trek could be in it too. I
Yes,
mean,
so
Star
much.
Trek is based in our universe.
That's true.
When I went to the exhibit, when the
Which
Hilton.
exhibit? Be specific.
When I went to the exhibit that was at the Hilton,
Okay.
that closed in 2009,
Star Trek: The Experience.
Star Trek: The Experience, and I think I have some pictures. I may pull some of them up for this. And you started at the beginning, and the beginning of it was NASA history,
Yeah.
and then it goes to First Contact, and then it's Star Trek history. You know,
Yeah.
and so it is. Excuse me, it is our history. So that it's our alternate vision of the future.
I keep saying, I mean, let's not screw things up because we really need the Vulcans to get here. First of all, I mean, come on, let's stop being jerk faces.
Well, but you have to remember that in the Star Trek universe, we were really big jerk faces for a long time.
And they didn't want anything to do with us,
Well,
except
no,
for when they came accidentally.
because of the warp engine. But
Yeah.
remember the state that.
I'm not talking about the warp engine. In Enterprise.
Oh God, that's stupid.
I love that episode when T'Pol's grandmother or grandmother.
No,
She landed in a coal mining
No,
town.
they don't. The intimation is that it is T'Pol.
No, it's not.
That is the intimation that
No,
she
it's
lived
her
for a long time.
grandmother.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well I'll watch
She's
it
not
again.
that old. She's like in her 70s
All
during
right.
Enterprise.
Okay, that's fair.
Don't question me on this.
I'm not gonna question you on it.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out
So
there
go
because
there.
I was under the impression that the intimation that it was actually her because of something that happened in the episode.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right,
I don't
all
care.
right.
I'm not gonna question you. You know more about it than I do.
She's trying to
What?
I'm just saying, I probably have more scruples about me right now.
you have studied more about Star Trek than I have. Okay.
My intro was going to be that if I watched one more episode of any Star Trek, there would probably be an intervention. I'm binging right now, so yes, I have a high level of facts stored here because of my binge watching.
Okay. Anyway, so T'Pol, maybe not T'Pol. T'Pol related.
Paul's grandmother.
She's a T'Pol related character. Let's put it that way. It's fine with me. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Sidetrack.
No, it's okay. So, also Farscape. Did you ever watch Farscape?
Yes, I did.
Farscape is related to us because he travels from Earth to
As an astronaut.
as an astronaut.
Buck Rogers.
Yeah, it's basically Buck Rogers. You're totally right. That's exactly
Only
what
cooler.
it is.
Because
It's way cooler.
Buck Rogers did a lot of disco
It was the 70s.
with glowing rope lights.
Now who's had too much wine? I know I
That's
keep
the
looking.
white man's overbite.
You watch too much Harry Met Sally. Okay, so then I think it is fun to think about the idea of the mirror universes. So the mirror universes are always evil.
Evil.
Always evil. There are mustaches and midriff tops, which is great, you know, for the guys, I guess.
There could be some women who like that kind of thing.
Oh, that's true.
Mhm.
That's true. I used to like midriff tops. I wore them a lot when I was in my 20s. Anyway, so also the sliders. I kind of like the sliders idea of the different universes. So there's two different things with the wormhole ideas. You got the Stargate,
Mm-hmm.
but Stargate doesn't go to.
It's other worlds, right?
It's other worlds. It's just basically it's basically a warp field, I guess, if you think about it that way. It's like a faster than light way of traveling. Jim is probably listening and cringing because I don't understand it. But the wormhole doesn't travel in time. I think it can travel in time if it has... There are episodes where they go back in time and forward in time, but something's wrong with the wormhole if it's doing that. Otherwise, it is just traveling. You are basically creating a wormhole to just a different place.
Okay.
So that's kind of neat. But then you get, it's a version of it because it's existing. The whole idea is that the Stargate universes or worlds are existing at the same time as us, just in a different part of the galaxy. And the way the Stargate wormhole works is it's in the Milky Way. But then Atlantis is like a more high-powered gate that goes to a whole nother... Go see Andromeda Galaxy?
He's not listening. He's playing chess.
Okay, thank you.
He's playing chess. Oh, he listened.
No, Craig answered.
Okay, Craig.
So the Andromeda... So the Stargate Atlantis is actually in the Andromeda Galaxy, and then they go... That's why there's different bad guys and everything like that.
Gotcha.
So it's not really different world. It's not different universes. It's different worlds. So
yeah,
I guess it's slightly different.
Like the Pegasus Galaxy.
Oh, the Pegasus Galaxy. Sorry. Different galaxy. That's the whole point. But in the Sliders world, do you remember any of them?
Well, it's been a while.
I remember one funny
parallel,
one.
right?
Yes, parallel. It's all like just like basically if we were in Sliders and we were to travel right now, we would be in this house maybe
with our other
copies, selves, yeah. But it maybe wouldn't be us. Maybe Amber and Todd would still live here.
Yeah.
You know, so it would just depend. One of my favorites was the one where everybody was on drugs. Like every single person was on some sort of like mind control drug, and then they found versions of themselves in the Jerry O'Connell character. His alternate self was like a protester, like an anti-drug protester. So like the opposite of, you know, and they were all like the hippies, like the anti-drug protesters were the hippies because the drugs that they were giving everyone, like the state was giving everyone drugs to like calm it, kind of like Miranda.
Big Brother.
Yeah, it was like a Big Brother kind of thing.
You're okay.
Yeah, everybody was just everybody's okay, and it's like so nobody was like getting high, having fun. Oh, okay, so it wasn't like everybody was getting high, having fun kind of deal. It was more like they were just kind of population control, giving everyone drugs so that they just kind of like
be mellow.
Yeah, and so the Jerry O'Connell character was like a super hippie who was protesting the drugs. So it was kind of
I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, so he was like fighting the establishment by saying no to drugs anyway.
The only one I remember, it's been a while since I watched Sliders, and the one I remember is like when red lights meant go and green lights meant stop.
See, but that's what I think is fun about that kind of stuff is that the idea of like the parallel universes, and this comes up in this Worf episode that I like too, Parallels. Which,
the Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Yeah,
episode.
That's like my only Worf-centered episode that I like. And the idea that parallel universes don't necessarily have to be like completely interesting. It can be a difference of it's chocolate cake, it's white cake. Or it can be a difference of red lights mean go and green lights mean yes. So, I mean, I think that's kind of fun is that it can be boring in a way. So, yeah. I don't know. So, what's some more? Can you think of them?
Well, we were talking initially about
which one we'd like to live in.
Well, I was just going to reference the Star Trek, the original series episode where they go to that world and everyone's escaped into the past because their world was ending.
Oh.
I can't remember, but I remember the books afterwards.
Was that what gave you the idea?
Yesterday's Sun is one of the books that was based on that episode.
Okay.
No, I think so. It was based on that idea. Like, if our world was ending, which universe would you go to survive? Like, if there was a portal
to all of these different places?
To all these different places, which one would you go to?
With the knowledge I have now.
The knowledge you have now. Because a lot of them are kind of like dystopian. We were talking about that, and it's like, I really don't think I want to live there. These are really sucky places to live.
Which one would I like to live in? I mean, I know that was the whole point of us talking about this, but I think maybe
I'll talk.
You go.
Think about it.
I have to think about it, sorry.
I'm a history buff, So I'm gonna have to say I would go with Outlander, the alternate history. Like I would go into the past, not necessarily to Scotland. I love Scotland, but into that past.
Okay.
And I would be one of the women they probably would tie to a stake because they thought she was a witch because she was too outspoken. Because I would not play that. They'd be like, "What? You think you're in charge? I don't think so. You're not beating me. Get away." That's what happens to Claire. Because husbands were allowed to beat their wives back then.
I realized that.
Yeah,
That was
and she
true
fought
up
back.
until like
She fought back.
the early, the future that was not that far away.
It's not that I want that to happen. Not at all. I enjoyed it. I love history. I love imagining what it was like to be in a certain time period. And I mean, I think to some extent that's why I like cosplay, because I kind of
imagine yourself.
Imagine myself wearing a certain period costume or before technology, just being quiet and peaceful. I like being isolated.
I just thought of something.
I'm an earth person.
I thought of something that we didn't think of.
What?
Steampunk is an alternate history.
That's true. So like,
I would probably like that because it has this combination of the history plus the technology.
Yeah, there are a couple of books.
The idea of like an alternate history. If that's what we're talking about, because it is, the whole idea of steampunk in general is an alternate history. So I don't know, maybe that would be mine. That would be a good one for me.
There are a couple of books. There's one that Cyber Crash.
Okay.
And then there's Player One. I know you haven't read Player One, but both of them are where gamers are escaping from their reality into a game environment.
Interesting. Or like Snow Crash, which you never
Snow
finished.
Crash.
But Snow Crash is future though, isn't it? But it's like the 80s.
They both kind of are. So
Yeah.
they both similar premises.
That's cool.
So,
no, I like it.
yeah.
So I think like for me, like steampunk or even
cyberpunk. Sorry,
would
that's
be
what I was thinking.
kind of
Cyberpunk.
Yes. I think Snow Crash is more cyberpunk. Craig.
Yes, it is cyberpunk.
Okay.
Steampunk, it would be
right.
like
Is Victorian,
Jules Verne
because I admit,
kind of.
even with my reservations about the stinkiness, I would very much like the Victorian era because it's close enough.
See?
And with the steampunk added, you have the technology, so I'm hoping that you also have some modern sensibility in there. But you still get to wear corsets.
And have like, a level of like an honor system.
And a little bit of
etiquette.
propriety. Because as much as I like my relaxation world, and I probably wouldn't like it after a while, it is kind of an interesting fantasy too. It is something to think about. I would like to live in that world for a little while. And if I had to escape to it, I'd go there.
So if that were the case, I agree with you there. And I would propose going to etiquette and espionage world, which is a Gail Carriger book. Where
I need to read one of Gail's books.
You do. One of the main characters is sent to finishing school, which is not finishing school. It is teaching young women to be assassins and spies.
That's awesome.
In the steampunk world. Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
It's awesome. I would totally do that.
Okay, well, I accidentally came up with a perfect solution for us. I love it.
Yeah. I think we could both exist in that world.
I think we could too. I don't know why I didn't think about it until now, but that's like it's the perfect place for us.
It would.
Yeah.
We could thrive there, I think.
I think also Pride and Prejudice and zombies would be pretty good.
My gosh,
we are talking
about that.
Okay, we are talking about it. There's some things I have to kind of get in place in my world because there's only 2 of us who can sew.
I'm trying.
I know.
I'm trying. It's not like I don't.
But the thing is that like I'm actually pretty experienced at that
period costume.
Empire costume. I can totally. You know what's interesting about that period is that it was very risque. Most of the women wore dresses that were like paper thin on purpose.
French, probably.
No, everybody.
Okay.
And it was paper thin, so you could see even some of the research that you do of that time period. Like the whole idea was that people could see through what you were wearing. It's so weird and so opposite what you would think. Isn't that funny?
That is very funny, especially since the Victorian era happened right after that.
Well,
and you can kind of tell. I mean,
but what's interesting about the Victorian era is that it has this reputation of being very proper. But it's not at all. It's not at all. That's where like some of the craziest. That era is where some of the craziest
did, like, some
pornography in the world has come from that era.
Weird stuff.
Specifically, and like, don't look it up.
It's because
not
you're rebelling against the propriety.
Not safe for life. Not safe for life. I'm just saying. And that's why it's funny, is because a lot of times what people want you to think of a certain era is not how it really was. And so that's what I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But
so we were talking about zombies, Pride and
Prejudice.
Zombies.
Pride and Prejudice.
We were thinking of doing this cosplay for Austin Comic Con, where we are all wearing what era costumes?
It's the Empire. I'm sorry, now I can't think of the name.
Regency.
It's the Regency period. Sorry, you're right, because I made the pin board about Regency badasses. When they wear the Empire waist.
Empire waist,
but then we kind of like Jane Austen meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes,
kind of a deal.
I'm hoping there's not a lot of blood squirted on my pretty dress.
No, and
I have not seen the movie yet, but apparently Stephanie and our friend Shane have both seen it, and they're all excited about it.
Well,
and so they
I'm a big fan of just the plain old Jane Austen stuff. So
I'm not a Jane Austen fan.
BBC,
but again,
Jane Austen, not Keira Knightley. Jane Austen. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Oh, we've already talked about this. It's
no,
clear.
Keira Knightley.
It's clear.
Just putting that out there. I want everyone to know.
She hates her.
I hate Keira.
Like with a passion.
I don't know why, but I just.
That's why we've never done a Pirates of the Caribbean podcast episode.
That Johnny Depp movie that Johnny Depp's in.
But we will never talk about it.
You can talk about it.
Sorry. I love it.
You can have somebody else.
She doesn't bother me.
Just don't like her face.
And she's skinny.
It's not that. There's plenty of skinny people I like.
You also said she's Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley. Kind of like Tom Cruise, right?
But she's also Keira Knightley is the poor man's Natalie Portman. That's all she is.
She did.
She even stands in for her in. Rest my case. Rest my case.
We diverge.
That's what we do.
I don't even remember what we were. Okay, so
Regency.
Cosplay, Austin Comic Con. We're thinking of doing Jane Austen. Zombie Slayer, something.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I guess we should read that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll read it. That's fine. I'll do that. We can do it as research before we.
Yeah, definitely. We should. Fine. Maybe we'll do an episode.
But we should also pick the kind of dress that we want to.
We have a Pinterest board right now
devoted to it. So if you follow us on Pinterest, make sure you follow that one.
Yes.
Because it's very, very, very cool. Talk about your book.
But my book.
Yeah.
So I read a book called Minecraft, which is about the history of Minecraft. And the only reason I got it was because I'm not a Minecraft player, but I'm wondering what the heck people are all interested in it for. Especially my son, my niece and nephew, Angela's son Russell. They all love it. It's kind of, I call it Minecraft. So in an attempt to understand it, I got this book. And it's about the history of Minecraft and its creator. His name is Marcus Persons. He goes by Notch. And so it's... Russell heard me talking about Minecraft.
Go sit with Jen.
Come on over. Talk about Minecraft.
It's okay.
So, Angela's son heard me talking about it. He's coming over. So, I read this book. It's about the history of Minecraft. And I think when you get a little older, you'll probably love it. But it's all about all the things you can do inside of Minecraft, like making Donkey Kong and Mario Brothers inside of Minecraft and testing other software. And
I've made Mario.
He's made Mario.
I've basically downloaded a command block mod, which one doesn't mess with your computer. That's all. Two, it's like Mario.
It's like Mario.
Or whatever the download is.
So yeah, I don't know anything about Minecraft, so I read this book about it. It's a really good book and I recommend it. It's all about the indie industry of gaming and like their little, like what they're all about, because they don't like the big corporations and they want to be more artistic rather than just making what will sell. And I recommend it. It's a really interesting read.
What do you like about Minecraft, buddy?
I like the basic survival mode and the command codes.
Do you like making things too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you accidentally discover different recipes for making different things? Have you
Yeah.
ever experimented with that?
Yeah, but I usually search it on the wiki.
Yeah. Because it's kind of hard to come up with all the different things that you need, right? To
Yeah.
make different stuff.
And
That's what I
also,
heard.
you can't craft saddles.
What?
You can't craft saddles.
Oh, okay.
So
You
can't
have to
make things?
find them in. Yeah, you actually can, but you have to find them
Hmm. That's
in
pretty cool.
dungeons. Or
See, I didn't know
villages.
any of this stuff. Nobody explained it to me. So I had to read a book about it.
Russell, how many books about Minecraft have you read?
3.
Wow.
3 out of 4.
What are they called? Maybe you can recommend them to the peoples.
I recommend if you're a beginner, you read the Essential Handbook. If you're a PvPer who likes to play on PvP servers, I suggest you use the Combat Handbook. If you're a coder or a redstoner, I suggest you use the Redstone Handbook. And if you're a builder, I suggest you use the Building Handbook.
Very good suggestions.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you very much.
All right. Say thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Don't worry, I'll cut it.
Russell. I love it. Don't cut it. It was awesome. I've read 2 Voyager books. Have you ever seen the entire Voyager series?
No, I haven't read through the whole thing.
See,
I haven't watched
I
the
got to
whole
the
thing.
season finale and it was like, what happens to these people after the end of the series? What happened to them? How does
I
this
hear
get
it's all really
resolved?
crappy.
It's not crappy. It's awesome.
Okay.
But I want to know really badly what happened to the characters after they got home.
Right.
So
And I heard that like all the Maquis got thrown in jail.
no.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I heard the same thing, and it was not the truth. That is not the case. So then Rick Moyer bought me the book because I was asking which books, is there any books that kind of continue from here as far as what happens to the crew?
Yep.
And so he bought me the book, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. We'll have to put it in the show notes. I don't remember the title.
See, I can put it like right there.
You could. I can send it to you. So, but it does. It's a good continuation about what happens to them. So I'm reading the first and the second one after that. And it's totally, if you watched all of Voyager, I'd suggest these 2 books. They're awesome.
Oh, good.
So, the Minecraft one and those 2 books, that's what I've read so far.
I'm
So-
reading Amy Poehler's book.
Really? What's it called?
Yes, please. It made me cry. There was a part that made me cry.
Aww.
Yep. She
Like
hurt-
good cry or like...
Mhm. It was a good cry.
Okay,
It was a good cry. Yeah, I like her. So it just makes it's good. It's a good book. And that's the funny thing about me is that I actually prefer, as much as I like sci-fi and fantasy, when I read, I actually prefer nonfiction or opinion books, like comedy books. That's the kind of stuff that I actually like to read. I know that's weird.
No,
So
it's not
it's
weird.
not like
I've
I
read-
don't, and that's the funny thing. It's not that I don't read. I just prefer short form, like essays and things like that. I just don't read I don't read novels very often. And I think if I were to ever write a book, it would be
An
more.
essay.
It would be more like essays or opinion piece or a comedy type thing. Does that make sense?
No, totally.
Because I know I have no stories in my head, but lots of opinions.
You do have lots of opinions.
They're informed
I can
mostly.
verify that. He and Aaron both have been raised with
Yeah.
their mommies being podcasters. In fact, I was filming something for a voiceover project that I was doing. Like, I was in a park, and David was filming me for like a commercial that I was doing. And these little kids, I was trying to concentrate on doing my spiel when I heard Aaron talking to some little kids off camera. They're like, "What is your mommy doing?" "Oh, she's doing a podcast."
It's nothing, just a podcast.
It's a podcast. I was like, I wanted to
Just
go,
Anomaly.
It's not a podcast.
So now I'm going to be curious how my little girl, I mean, she's going to really, she'll be like a little anomaly.
Yep.
Maybe. If she's not.
No,
that's
she
okay.
will. That's pretty. You should tell people what I got her.
Oh, do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, get it. It's
Okay.
awesome.
Hold on one
I
second.
got her a little Wonder Woman ragdoll. Hi. And show me when you're doll. Yeah.
Say hi. Hi.
Isn't it hilarious?
Hi, people. This is the doll.
It's adorable.
Isn't it so cute?
But not as cute as you.
Yeah, she's definitely the doll.
She is. Kind of looks like you with your blue eyes.
Oh, there she goes. All right. Well,
shout outs.
Sam. Right? Samantha, sorry.
Hi.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you for wishing Lorelai a happy birthday, and thank you for wishing us a happy birthday. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Samantha is...
and your dad.
Yeah, David on our Facebook group. His little girl's 9 years old, and she's like your biggest fan ever.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Oh. All right. Well, that's Jen.
It's me. That's Angela. And this is Lorelai.
This is Lorelai. And you've been listening to the Anomaly podcast, where female and fandom converge.
Peace.